So faithful to every generation. So high. Go on, everybody. Say, He won. Hey, come on. He won. He will fail now. Jesus can never fail you. Say, He will fail. Whoa, He will. Say, He will fail. I love the spots. Say, rain came, wind blew, my house was built on you. And I'm saying, come on, sing it like you mean it. Rain came, my house was built on you. I'm safe with you.
Hallelujah. Praise the name of the Lord. Amen. We can please be seated. We attended the same secondary school. Yes, we attended the same secondary school. And I've watched him grow over the years. He has a BSc in building, I think it's building technology from Obafemi Awolowo University. And you know, just like me, he did not practice building. He went straight to KPMG. And he served in KPMG for many years, rose through the ranks, you know, until he now got into his new organization now. So they had to poach him from KPMG. And anytime you hear that they poach somebody from the big fours, just know that what they are going to pay them is not anything small. If you know, you know. Praise God. You know, if you start your career in consulting, you know, the pay may not be so much like that. You know, just little bit here and there to cater for transportation. Then they will so stress your life. You know, you will travel and travel and travel. Your life will revolve around hotel. You'll be moving from one hotel to the other, one client to another client to another client. But it's a good one. But it pays off at the end of the day, you know, when, you know, they now look at you. So the same client you have solving problems for, it's just like the case of Joseph. And they will say, Joseph is interpreting the dream. And they are saying that, okay, so who will solve the problem? They say, it is you now. Name your price. So that's when you will now slam them with the millions. And you are the one that identified the problem. You are the one that has the solution. So they will just get you. Praise the name of the Lord. So today we have Mr. Today Wale Temawa with us. He's an HR professional. So forget building. He's now HR, human resources. And it's going to be taken with his years of experience in consulting, you know, and also, you know, now in, you know, drilling it down to the mortgage industry. He will be telling us on how you can land that big job. You know, sometimes it's been erroneously said that it is not possible for you to build wealth as an employee. But it is not entirely correct. It's not entirely correct. Now, today I was looking at, the top 10 highly paid employees in Nigeria, and we have people like the CEO of MTN Nigeria. What that guy earns in a year, some entrepreneurs. So, I'm telling you, as in cool money. And interestingly, they don't touch that money. It's just there. They don't spend those money. So somebody is earning 850 million naira in a year, and he doesn't touch it. And somebody is in Alaba, they understand, hey, my container is coming. After the whole thing, profit, loss, everything, you may still not get there. We have people like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala that even for herself, she may not even know the number of boards that she belongs to. There are some sitting allowances, just being a member of a board, that solves your problem. When I was in the bank, most of the board of directors would pay for almost practically everything. Their diesel, their house, their flight, their anything that has to do with them. They don't collect salary, but what they earn, their sitting allowance alone, bank must make profit for them to sit. You'll be going 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5. But positioning, strategic positioning. Praise the name of the Lord. So, it is possible for you to build great wealth, still working or serving under a particular organization. So not everybody would delve into entrepreneurship. And don't feel that you cannot make it. In fact, interestingly, there are situational entrepreneurs. And situational entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs that found themselves in Nigeria and there's no job. So they've gone to many seminars that they've told them you can do it, you can start, you can do something. You don't know. So somebody starts a business, starts nail fixing business. After a while, it gets tired. Because some people are not wired up for it. They're not wired up for it. There's some people, they started selling food. After a while, they dropped it. Some people are selling water. They dropped it. So when you see that trend, that this person does it for a while, it's survival instinct. So most people are situational entrepreneurs. So, but you can still function and do well as, as an employee. But an employee that is rightly positioned. Rightly positioned. There are people that earn up to about $20,000 or $30,000 every month as employees. It is settled. How many of you like that kind of small life? It's still small life, cool life. Raise your hand. Okay, maybe you want more than that. But start with that first. Then we will now bring Mr. Tunde again to take you from 30,000 per month to maybe 100,000. But start from that. Because you cannot be at 100K now. And that one is small. What is small? Get to $30,000 per month first. Oh, because I'm not giving the Naira equivalent. Multiply it now. $30,000 times maybe 1,400. How much is that? Somebody should do the math. $30,000 times 1,400 Naira. How much is that? 42 million. 42 million Naira. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's really small. It's small, really. Sorry. I'm sorry for insulting your intelligence. Because, I didn't even know. It was looking big to me, really. But now that you gave me the Naira equivalent, it is small. Okay, let's say maybe $100,000 per month. Something like that. You can still manage it a little bit. Praise the name of the Lord. As an employee. You understand? And you still work from home. Child. Mr. Today, come and help us out. Please, let's rise up to our feet and welcome Mr. Today Wale Temo.
Wow. Praise God. Yeah, it's always good to be home because this is home for me. Yeah. Like he said, I am fully part of the Harvest House Nation. And of course, I know, how many of you know me here? Some of you are seeing me for the first time. Okay, like our first timers and our second timers. Thank you. We can have our seats, please. We can have our seats. Please, I want you to help me celebrate the leadership of this house. Pastor Deji, Sister Joy, Sister Toyin. I mean, like Pastor Deji said, we go way back from the days of playing set on a court that was meant for handball. I mean, Pastor Deji, it was a handball court, but we used to go and play football there. I don't know when last we were at ISI. I think they've built a hall there now. I'm not sure that court is still there anymore. It's been long. Yes. I was there last year. I'm not sure if that court is still there. But we had fun playing those our sets. Those days, yeah. And please help me also celebrate our senior pastor, the set man over the Harvest House Nation, the Reverend Bemini Eboda, and of course our mama, Pastor D. Please help me celebrate them. Reverend is phenomenal. Reverend is phenomenal. I always say that I think Reverend believes in me more than I believe in myself. At times, he places a demand on you, and I'm like, this man really rates me that high. Even me, myself, I'm not sure I can do this. But he places that demand, and that's what fathers do. That's what fathers do. Please help me celebrate him one more time. What a word we had in the first service this morning. Were you blessed? I was blessed. The full armor. When you were talking, ma'am, when you were talking about, the sword of the Spirit, which is the only weapon of attack that we have, which is the word of God. I always like to, I'll get into what I'm here to do, but let me just say a thing or two about that. I always like to give this example when I talk about that. Remember those days when we used to watch Fade Yoluru? How many of you watched Fade Yoluru of those days? It's word warfare. When Fade Yi and Aworo are fighting, then Fade Yi will say something, Aworo will reply. Fade Yi will say, if Fade Yi says something and you cannot respond, you're done. Remember, you are done. If you don't have response, you are done. That's the way it is. The word is our own weapon. So it's word warfare. You've got to have the word to respond. When the enemy came to tempt Jesus, he was saying it is written. Jesus too will reply him. So you've got to have that response for him. Thank you once again. Please, can we just celebrate the vessel the Lord has used to bless us this morning? And I mean, I'm with you on the Arsenal. I'm a proud Arsenal fan. Proudly, champions of England. Yes. I was also going to wear my jersey. That was what I had planned too. But guess what? I still wore it. It's inside. It's under the shirt. But I just said, okay, let me not distract you people too much. When last you see a champion. What happened yesterday was a glitch. But we'll be back. Amen. It could have been anybody's game, Okay, all right. So I've been asked to come speak on landing your dream job. Positioning. Yeah, thank you. Positioning for local and international or global opportunities. in a VUCA world. To start with, and I like the context that Pastor Deji, had said. For a very long time, people have told us, salary is salary is something they pay you to forget your dreams. You can't get rich earning salary. They play. Like he said, there are salary earners who are earning good. And the truth is that salary helps you to build wealth. The salary itself is not the wealth. It's what you now do with it. Is what you do with it. That's building wealth. So it's actually a tool for you to build wealth. The money itself is an inflow. Then what you do with it is how you build wealth. Whatever investment, whatever you are able to tie, whatever assets you're able to acquire with it, that's how you build wealth. But that's not the purpose of my conversation this morning. How many of us here are entrepreneurs? You run your own business. Anybody like that? Sure, we have. You run your own business. So you are not an employee. You are an employer of labor. So let me talk to you first. So you may be wondering that, okay, I am the boss. I run my own business. So why am I here to hear about landing a dream job? I'm not looking for a job. I employ people. I give out jobs. Yeah, but there's something for you here. When we go through this together this morning, you would also get to know what you should look out for when next you are hiring. What kind of traits, what kind of skills should you be looking out for the next time you want to hire someone? And also how to position your organization to maximize the talent that you want to hire. I had a story recently, and of course, it's the kind of stories that you would have had a lot. A young man said he went for an interview. So the interview was invited for the interview, he was scheduled, and then he got there. He was meant to meet with the CEO, and they agreed on a time. Maybe the interview was scheduled for 10 o'clock. He got there, they told him the CEO is inside, he's in a meeting, wait for him. The guy waited. 1 hour went, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed. CEO was still inside doing, whatever, maybe some other meetings, After over 3 hours, the young man carried his bag and left. Before I end the story, what do you think? Do you think that was right of him? He have stayed? If you were in his shoes, what would you have done? Stayed. Who would have left? Ben and brethren, I would have left. I'll leave. And I will explain my position. See, a mistake that employers make, and HR people like myself to make, is you think interviews are one-way thing. No, as you are interviewing the candidate is interviewing you too. He is also assessing your organization. Can I work in this kind of place? So we take advantage of people's desperation for jobs. So we treat them anyhow. You gave someone an appointment for 10. You could be genuinely busy. What happened to tell your secretary if you can't come out? So tell your PA, oh, I'm sorry, young man. This is what is happening. Or do you want to go? Can we reschedule? Respect his time. Yeah. But you're just there inside because you're the big man. So what happened in the story? After the guy left, the CEO now called him. Sir, where are you? I'm sorry, sir, I left. Oh, you failed the interview. That was part of the interview. I wanted to test your resilience. I said, if I'm the one, I may not say it's that rudely. But yes, sir, you two, you failed my interview. We are both interviewing ourselves. So as a job owner, too, or as a business owner, too, how you position, your organization to attract the best of talent is also one of the things that you should take out. You should take out of this. So yeah, you can move to my next slide. Some context. Have you ever applied? So you can. Yeah, this is just my outline. The next one. Have you ever applied before this? So I have some questions for you here. Have you ever applied for a job and you didn't get a positive feedback, or they didn't even call you back at all? Plenty, right? And please, to my fellow HR professionals here and business owners, if you're not hiring somebody, tell them it was a pleasure meeting with you, but we are sorry. We regret to tell you, all those fancy words now, make them feel good. While we found your profile to be, gang,
But unfortunately, at this time, we have decided to move on. Don't just leave them hanging. It's not good. It's not good. So, yeah. And if you've received those kind of feedback or those kind of mails before, it does not necessarily mean you were not good enough. I've been in hiring conversations or hiring situations before where we couldn't hire the best candidates. So that best candidate got that kind of message and probably felt I was not good enough. But he was the best, but we couldn't afford him. So that you got that message shouldn't make you feel less of yourself. And at times you could actually reach back and say, oh, thank you very much. If you don't mind, can you tell me? They may tell you, but they may not have the time to give you all of that. Some will give you the caveat that we're sorry, we have a lot of applications and may not be able to give you. But I just want to encourage you, if you've gotten those kind of rejection mails before, it doesn't mean you were not good enough. They probably just couldn't afford you. And it may also mean you were not good enough. It may also mean you were not good enough. Do you know someone seemingly less qualified than you, but they got a better opportunity? I'm sure you know people like that. You went to school together, you had 2-1, they had 2-2, they are working in Shell now. Right? And like, this life is not fair. Like the example of best person they gave us this morning. This life is not fair now. I remember my first jam. I wrote my first jam and I scored 201. That was like Oriyomi, right? Just managed to cross 200. So I wanted to study architecture at University of Lagos, but 201 was low for the cutoff. Then I remember a prof in the church that my mom used to attend those days. He was a prof in UI. And then he said, oh, you can come to UI. We'll get you a course in UI, maybe geography or something. So it was actually geography I was processing. And I used to go. Unfortunately, the man took ill, So he told me he had handed over my case to another professor in Faculty of Social Sciences, Department of Geography. The man kept posting me, second batch, VC list, attrition list, all sort of. The day I felt bad, when they had started registration, new Jamba had started registration, I was still going to look for admission. One day, I passed in front of that admission building, and I saw this fellow. I will not mention his name, somebody here might know him. He was one of the people that, all those people in your class that they cannot write the exam by themselves, they have to dub somebody. He was doing registration. He got admission. I was looking for admission. I said, no, now, God. I said, how now? He got admission. He passed jam. And he entered university before me. It happens. Do you dream of getting an international role someday? I'm sure there are people here like that. Are you prepared for it? Are you prepared for it? Newsflash, and I'm sure you know this already, it's an increasingly competitive job market. And your degree alone no longer enough. Your degree alone is no longer enough. Today's opportunity, what I have here, it says it goes to people who position themselves. And Pastor Deji, in fact, he had set the context for this conversation. People who position themselves. We're going to talk about all this. How do you position yourself? How do you adapt quickly? Adaptability. Visibility, maintaining visibility, very important. There are very skilled people that nobody knows about them. Nobody knows them. Somebody said that if you're doing business and you don't advertise or something like that, it's like a man winking at a lady in the dark. He's the only one who knows what he's doing. The other person doesn't know. So how are you positioning yourself for visibility? Are you communicating your value? Let's see Proverbs 22, verse 29, the Message version of this. I like it a lot. Proverbs 22, verse 29, the Message version. Just a minute. Okay. I'll take it from the Message. It says, observe. This is what's the popular NKJV. See a man diligent at what he does, right? Now, this is the way the Message puts it. It says, observe people who are good at their work. Skilled workers are always in demand and admired. They don't take a back seat to anyone. Let me read that again. Observe people who are good at their work. Are you good at your work? Help me ask somebody beside you. Are you good at your work? Are you good at what you do? Skilled workers are always in demand and admired. They don't take a backseat to anyone. You know, recently the CEO of Money Point, he was at the platform and he said something that's created a lot of backlash and all that. He was saying he's been trying to fill vacancies. They've not found good people and all of that. Don't ask me for my take on it. But I understand what he's saying. If you've tried to hire people, you will know that we have an employability problem. We have and it's not just enough to go to university and get a degree. We actually do have an employability problem. So are you good at what you do? Are you good at what you do? Now let me talk to us as Christians here. You see, being good at what we do is actually ministry. It is ministry. Ministry is not just when you climb stage and preach on a Sunday morning. In fact, the late Dr. Miles Morrow, I remember one day he came to Canaan land in Otta. That's Bishop Oyedepo's church. And I happened to have been there that day. This was like 2001, 2002 or thereabouts. He said something that I found very profound. He said, God doesn't take so much glory on Sunday mornings. He takes much more glory from Mondays to Saturdays when we are out there in the market. I personally believe that your Christianity, the essence of your Christianity is what you do with it out there. It's not when we gather here to, what we do here is to build ourselves, is to develop ourselves, share the word like you had this morning, and then you go out there and use what you have heard, right, to attract men into the kingdom. Let's look at Matthew 5, 14 to 16. Matthew 5, 14 to 16. That's where it says you're a city set on a hill. Matthew 5, 14 to 16. I would like to read this from the Amplified. And see, as Bible scholars, if you study the Bible, I want to encourage you to study your Bible in different versions. Some people tell you that the original version is KJV. That's the actual version. Yes, that was the first English translation. But you see, the other Bibles just help to make it contemporary for us so that we understand it better. Like I always say, the Amplified helps you to, like the name suggests, amplify what you're reading. Someday, I like to say, someday we'll have the Gen Z version of the Bible, where you see things like, and David said to God, it's not that deep now. I'm sure when they wrote the message, people who were used to KJV today felt that, how can you be diluting the word? Okay, let's look at Matthew 5, 14 to 16 in the Amplified. It says, you are the light of Christ to the world. That's what we are. We're the light of Christ to the world. And a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand. It gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good deeds and moral excellence and recognize and honor and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So when you do well on your job, your light is shining. When you do well on your job, you're doing ministry. When you do well in whatever it is that is committed into your hands, you're actually drawing men to the kingdom. The Bible says in those days, 10 men will hold on to the skirt of him that is a Jew, and they will say, take us to the house of the Lord your God. Why? Because they've seen attraction. Something attracted them. And that's your light. That's your excellence. That's your good works. Right? So when you do your work well, it's ministry. I have a friend who once, he had a client. He was running a consultancy. And then he had a client who needed staff. So my friend helped this client to hire people from his church, from my friend's church. So my friend knew people in his church who needed jobs. He had a client who needed to hire people. So he hired people from his church for his clients. Now, the client found out that they were from his church, but he didn't have a problem as long as they do the work well. Not a problem, right? But after some months, the client called my friend and said, don't ever hire me people from your church again. That's bad. That's heartbreaking. Why? They will be at work. Head of drama will carry the man's paper in the office, be printing scripts for drama rehearsal in church. Come on. You find it funny too, right? See, you can be speaking in tongue spirits filled, and if you're messing up at work, you're not winning any soul for Christ. You're not. So we've got to do well at those jobs. Okay, let's move on. Now, what's a dream job? A job you dream about, right? Okay, let me start by talking about what a dream job is not, or what is not a dream job. A dream job is not necessarily the highest paying job. There are people who are earning a lot, but they are groaning. Monday mornings are like hell for them. They don't look forward to it. So it's not just about the money. It's not just about the money. So it's not necessarily the highest paying job. It's not necessarily a foreign job. The PCU of MTN thought he's working here. He's working here. The other day, they disclosed what people earn at Seplat. Entry-level people collecting 7 digits every month, working in Nigeria. So it does not necessarily have to be a foreign job. It does not necessarily have to be a prestigious title. Some people have big title. But you just realize it's just big title. What they are even earning is not commensurate with that title that they. So it's not necessarily, you can also add yours. So what then is a dream job? Number one is one that matches your competence. Have you seen a job adverts before? You see the job descriptions and it's like they are describing you. You will know, this is me now. I tick all of these boxes. So it matches your competence. It aligns with your purpose. It aligns, you know that I was born for this. You are in it and you know this is what I was born to do. And you see, at times, purpose. Now, this is not a purpose conversation, but let me speak a little bit about purpose. It's often said that purpose, I think I heard this from Rev, said, purpose is God's decision, but your discovery. He's the maker. This phone did not decide what its purpose is. The person that made it for a purpose. Now, God is your maker, so he decided your purpose. But it's your responsibility to discover that purpose. And I always like to say this, that discovery of purpose is not an event. It's a journey. There are things you're doing now in line with your purpose that 10 years ago, you had no idea about it. You did not even see yourself in that space those days. So, at times, you know it's ahead. At times, God orders your steps into it. You take up a job that you probably just take it to start from somewhere. And while you're at it, you realize this is it for me. I have a friend, we went to school together, and her first job, of course, she had also tried to get jobs in bank, those kind of places where we used to work when we finished from school, bank, Big Four. She couldn't get it. She had a 2-1. And the job she got was as a business development person in an educational consultancy. These people that help people to get admission abroad. That was the job she got as a business development person. And she started doing it and realized she likes this. And she kept doing it. Before you know it, she was traveling abroad, to schools. Cut long story short, she's on her own. She's in the UK now, doing that business. So she got that job first out of, this was just what's my hand. When your hand finds something to just do it well. And he found out that was actually her place of purpose. And she's doing very well at it. She's into the education space. The last time we spoke, she was even telling me she wants to come and establish a school in Nigeria. She found purpose in the course of that. A little bit about my own experience too. Like, he introduced me. I studied building. So I wanted to be an architect first. So when I was writing JAMB, I was feeling architecture. Remember I told you the first one, 201. I couldn't enter anywhere eventually. Second one, 192. I didn't make 200. So I went to study physics. Then I wrote the third one, 212 or something. I still wanted to act there, they now gave me building. At that point, JAMB had jammed humility into me. They just give it to me, just give me. And then I got to study building. While I was studying building, I realized I loved structural design courses because we did some courses in structural designs. So I said, okay, I would like to be a structural engineer. That when I finish, I'll go for a master's in structural engineering. Then I did an IT with a structural engineering firm. I like structural designs. Then I went for 400 level IT here in Abuja on a construction site. I liked it, but then I asked myself, do I want to spend the rest of my life on a construction site? He was not looking like it again. Then KPMG came to school. Final year, those of us that were on 2-1 and above then, and you were below 26, we went to write test. I passed. So at that point, I said, okay, yes, management consult. I didn't even know what management consulting was about, too. But I like KPMG. I like the brand. I had a senior colleague from school who was working there. So after NYC, actually, during NYC, I served in Zenith Bank. They probably missed that bit of, I served in Zenith Bank, So I served in the bank, Kaduna, I was in marketing. I did not like it. I knew this was not for me. I couldn't even speak Hausa. Then after NYC, I was retained, and I served in I was retained, and I was posted to this main branch here, Maitama branch, And I remember that day when I got there. So HR in Lagos, after we did the what do you call those class we do? Training school. So HR posted me to funds transfer in Abuja. I said, okay, that still sounds a bit like it. All the while, I was waiting for KPMG. They were delaying, So one of my friends who served in Abuja told me that, Tunde, see, if HR says that, when you still do another interview with Madam, she's the CEO of the bank now. Very powerful woman. She said, Madam will still do her own interview. So forget what HR says. Madam will decide for you. And true. When I faced Madam said I should choose between marketing that I did not like in Kaduna and cash and teller. It was like the devil and the deep blue seas. I didn't choose. I was saying, Ma, please, funds transfer, even if it's not this branch, another branch in Abuja. She just smiled. When they came to announce our names, Tunde Wale Temo, cash and teller. That was the day I wrote my resignation letter. But I did not submit it because I didn't have another job. And I did that for a year. All the while waiting for KPMG, eventually KPMG. KPMG process, then I think they've streamlined it now. It was 4 levels. My own 4 stages spanned 3 years. The first stage, waited for a year. They said there was no opening. Anyway, cut long story short, I got into KPMG eventually. And see, a lesson out of that, this is not in my notes, but I just thought quickly, and I'm also mindful of time. I just thought to encourage someone with this. At times, you may need to stoop to conquer in chasing your dream. You may need to stoop to conquer. By the time KPMG came, I had done 2 years in the bank. And KPMG was telling me, sorry, your experience is not relevant. It hurt, but it was the truth. I was going to do my main consulting. Is it my cash and teller skill that I want to go and be using to advise? So he said you have to start entry level. So it was going back entry level. It was less pay. Because like Pastor, he said, see, the Big Four, fantastic. I tell young people, fantastic place to start your career. You won't earn a lot. But the way we used to say is, you come here to learn so that you can go and earn later. So the pay was going to be less. I remember one of my colleagues then, a guy called Moses. We used to do, so they made me ATM teller. I was in charge of all the bank's ATMs in Abuja. Crazy work that time. And I told him, I said, guy, see, I have this offer from KPMG. It's entry level. It's going to pay me less than I'm earning here. And he said, guy, if not the money you define, if you stay here, but if it's better experience, you better go there. And I took that advice. I went. And it's still one of the best decisions of my life. Praise God. Because what the Big Fours do is they fast track your career for you. You get promoted every year. You get into rooms that normally your colleagues elsewhere, you, as an analyst, you are sitting down with your partner talking to CEO of a bank. Even if all you're doing is just taking notes, but you're in that room. It creates those kind of opportunities for you. So, I was talking about purpose. So, purpose for me was unraveling in all of those journeys. Now, when I even got into the KPMG, fine, management consulting, what exactly in management consulting? Now, we had what we call lines of business, they used to call it areas of specialization. We had strategy, we had people, this is HR consultancy, basically. We had what we call process, and we had technology. But when you come in your first 3 years, they expose you across board. Then by the time you're becoming a senior associate, they expect you to have your niche where you specialize. So I really wasn't even sure. I did some strategy, I did some people. But when they put me on a job in my senior associate year as an HR person somewhere, I knew that was it. That experience got me into knowing this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been looking for. So it would align with your purpose. It will provide you a growth pathway. A growth pathway. What do I mean by growth pathway? You see improvement. It may not necessarily be promotion, as it were, but you're seeing job enrichment. You are seeing that you are building better skills. You are seeing that your networks are growing. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. Let me just run. It allows you to make an impact. And of course, remember earlier we said it's not necessarily about money. But that money matters. Yorubas will say, "Owo ni koko." Money is the cocoa. They asked somebody at an interview, "Why do you want to work for?" He said, "It's because of the money." I said, "I like that guy. He's sincere." Abi, it's the money. But of course, you deliver value in getting that money. So your dream job should also offer you good compensation and benefits. It should enhance your lifestyle. It's about work-life balance. Some people now call it work-life integration. You have a job, you're earning a lot of money, but you don't have a life. You don't have a life at all. That's, for me, that's not a dream job. You want something that makes your life better. Makes your life better. Now, let's quickly talk about VUCA. Because we're talking about a VUCA world. VUCA, how many of you have heard about VUCA before this morning? Okay, how many of you have never heard about it before today? Okay. So it's actually a term that was originally used by the military. I learned it was from Pentagon, the U.S. security forces that came up with this idea. And it basically means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now, it's the use of it has extended to businesses, in business parlance and all that. So what I've tried to do here is to situate it into our job situations or the job markets or your careers. When we say volatility, things are changing rapidly in the world we live in today. I'm sure you agree with me. You hear about layoffs, the big tech. All those big tech companies, you just hear they are laying off people, replacing people with AI. That's volatility. There is economic instability. Some companies are not making like they used to make. And it's affecting jobs as well. If you invest in the stock market, some of the big banks did not even pay dividends this year. Some people were looking forward to that dividend. It did not come. Economic instability, currency fluctuations. We were converting 1,400. When did we get here? 1,400. The people that like that are those that are earning FX, that is funny. When you live in Nigeria, earning FX, you don't want Naira to come down. But those earning Naira are like, why now? Different strokes for different folks. Remote job shifts. Before 2020, COVID, remote job wasn't really that much of a thing. Now, people are doing a lot of remote work, right? And there's also a lot of uncertainty. Career paths are less predictable now. People change. You can move from one industry to another very easily because these days you have what they call transferable skills. Transferable skills. So I'm an HR person in financial services. It doesn't mean that I cannot do HR in oil and gas. It doesn't mean I cannot do HR in power. Of course, there is a part of understanding the industry, which if you are a quick learner, which is one of the things we're going to talk about, it doesn't take you a lot to quickly learn and switch into those places. Freelancers. So when I did my MBA, my thesis, or is a project they call it, was on the gig economy. Now, the gig economy is big in some places. What it basically means is that people don't just work on one job. You can work on 5, and it's happening in Nigeria, especially tech people. They are contractors, so to speak. They work for 5 different employers at different times. Now, where it becomes a problem and also borders on ethics, if you signed up 9 to 5 full time with one person, and you know that people, especially in America, during COVID, people started doing that one. They are employed full time, 9 to 5 with an employer. Then they have another employer. I read about a lady recently. You like 2 different jobs, and she was doing them remote. That's one of the things that all this remote thing to has cost. She was working full time with 2 different employers. In fact, she must have been a genius, attending meetings. They said she even got promotion. In one of it was 3. Then God now caught her. 2 of them now say, yeah, come and resume in the office. At the same time, now there were all days. She was trying to, before they found out that truly, you have been working with. So, but if you're a freelancer, you already agreed ahead. I do 2 hours with you. Then I do 2 hours with this person. I do 3 hours with this person. Not that you commit full time and you want to be earning 2 full salaries. It shouldn't work. And it borders on ethics as well. Complexities. Employers value you beyond your certificate. They look beyond your certificate now. I'll talk a bit more about that. All of these things that I listed there, I'll talk a bit more about them. Let's talk about ambiguity. What does we mean by this ambiguity? Things are not black and white like they used to be. Things are not as clear as they used to be. Let me give you a very good example. We don't really have this here. But for you looking for international job, especially if you want to relocate, we thank God for what someone like Trump. Trump that man is an enigma. He has you will do some things, you hail him, then he will just do something, be like, how did this man become president? Have you tried to fill a form where they're asking you for your gender, and you now see a long list, for crying out loud, not be male and female, okay, them. And you see pansexual, gender fluid. What is all this confusion? There's a young lady who was going to get a job in the UK, and she used me as one of her referees. So they sent me her reference form. And in the reference form, they said so person, and we're about to employ so person. They have used you as referee. They have done this. I had to call her. Come, have you also become like those? She said no. She said straight, and she told I am female. So that when I reply, I'll say, I know them. They are well known to me. So much ambiguity. We live in a world where you're looking at a man with beer, and you say he, and he takes offense that he is not he. Esther, what are you? So you say they. They said. My former junior colleague who also works in the UK now told me she had that experience at work. This guy was a man, and she addressed him as he or something, and the guy took offense. Said, no, that's not. So you now say they, just to be safe. People who thrive in the VUCA world are not always the smartest, but often the most adaptable. So adaptability is a big skill that you need to have now. Now let's go to what employers are looking for. What employers are looking for. They're looking for value. But yes, they've always looked for value, right? But it's just that what does value mean now is different from what value probably was some 5, some 10 years ago. So not just your qualifications. I said degrees still matter, but organizations are increasingly asking, can this person solve our problems? Have you heard of skills-based organizations before? These are organizations that for white-collar jobs, or not blue-collar menial jobs, white-collar office, clerical kind of jobs, they say we don't care about whether you have a degree or not. It's the skill you have that we're looking for. So are you building the right skills for the market? Now, let me say something about certificates so that you don't go away saying that they told you today that certificates no longer matter. It still matters. My boss always tells us the slogan of the NRA, National Rifle Association, NRA, in America, those people that sell guns. You know, America has a gun problem. In fact, as an American citizen, it's your constitutional right to carry a gun. It's in the Constitution, you can carry a gun. One of my friends who became an American citizen said when she was taking her oath of citizenship, the guy beside her now whispered and said, yeah, now you can get yourself a gun. So the NRA have a slogan. They will say, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Do you get that? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's better to have gun and not need it than to need gun, you now don't have gun. So it's better to have certificate and not need it than to you now need it and then you don't have it. And what's, for crying out, you equip yourself better when you have the certificate plus the skills to it. Because what then happens is if you get into even a so-called skills-based organization with just skill, me too, I enter with skill and certificate. At some point, I will outgrow the guy who just came with skill and no certificate. So please, by all means, if you're still in school, take it seriously. Get your certificate. My advice to undergraduates, try and make sure you come out with at least a 2-1. I'm not saying 2-2 is bad. Yes, you can still do stuff with a 2-2. But if you can make a 2-1 at least, get your 2-1. And I also say these days, unless you are sure you want to practice that your medicine or your engineering, just go and do a 4-year course and get a good grade and come out. Because, Pastor Deji, elect, are you connecting wire? But he's electrocuting the devil, sha. Me too, with my degree in building. Well, I'm building people now. But you just realize that how many people actually really use that first degree, you know? So, and it's not a waste, really. You know, things we learned in school. First degree, by the way, is just to give you a pedestal. The likes of, even the banks, the KPMG, if you studied Yoruba engineering and you have 2-1, first class, they will call you, do their test. If you pass, they hire you. I remember when I was in my second year or so, we took account of the courses that all of us studied. Those of us that are in my units. This was my main consulting. You know, can you guess the course that most people that had the highest representation? Pharmacy. Pharmacy had the highest representation. People that should be dispensing drugs. They are doing consulting. We even had 2 doctors, medical doctors. So you went and spent 6 years in medical school. This is where you are. So get that degree, get it with a good grade, and the world is really, really your oyster. You know, the world is your oyster. So the World Economic Forum, they published this annual Future of Jobs report. The one for 2025, which was the last I saw, they surveyed different employers, you know, and were like the top 5 skills that they said they saw as increasingly relevant in the workplace. AI and big data. We'll talk a bit about AI shortly. Networks and cybersecurity. Technological literacy. Creative thinking. Resilience, flexibility, and agility. Now, what jumped at me when I saw this is that you notice it's a combination of hard and soft skills. AI and big data, hard skills. Network and cyber, hard skills. Technological literacy, hard skills. Creative thinking, resilience, these are soft skills. So soft skills still matter. it still matter. So you know how to code, you know how to program, you know how to do AI, you can do data analysis and all that, but you don't have soft skills. You might be out of job soon. I used to have a colleague, very brilliant. You can go to the next slide. Very brilliant young lady. She was already a chartered accountant before she graduated from school. But her character, there is nobody she cannot insult. There is nobody she cannot talk to. They kept giving her feedback. First year. At the end of second year, he said, one day you will slap clients for us. Please come and be going. We know you are brilliant, but this your character. Nah, we can't deal with it. There is an American entrepreneur, I can't remember which one of them, who said that, I hire for character, I train for skill. Skills can be trained, but character, especially to change an adult, a full-grown adult, is hard. It is hard. So if you have to choose between someone with good character who doesn't really have the skill, as long as the person is teachable, you can still take a bet on them. But when the character is wrong, totally, even with all your skill, that person can pull your organization down. And especially if they're now senior people, that's how toxicity enters organizations. When you have senior people with bad character, that's how toxic environment. People say, oh, it's a toxic environment, it's a toxic. That's how toxicity is actually created in organizations. Senior people with bad character. Now, I want to bring this closer home. Now, this is not exhaustive, please. This is just from my own experience and a bit of research, Some of the things that I see employers really looking for. Adaptability, which was what I was talking about. Can you learn quickly? And see, knowledge, and the Bible also says that knowledge will abound, right? So we live in those days now that knowledge is abounding. You think you know a lot, then you hear about one tool, and like, another one again? So are you able to quickly switch and quickly learn what you need to learn to be on that job? Communication skills. This one I cannot overemphasize. Business writing. You've got to learn it. How to write, communicate well. Very, very important. Speaking confidence. You see, everything that I have put in this, I could have gone to ChatGPT or any of these AI platforms and just give it a prompt. It will give me everything. Right? But AI will not deliver all these ones I'm saying. And Shaima, is the AI that is talking to you? That's why I personally, let's talk a bit about AI now. You've heard it said that, AI is taking jobs, AI will take jobs. AI is actually taking jobs, yes. But what kind of jobs is AI taking? Some repetitive kind of stuff. It's easy for AI to take that. Even before AI came, there were some jobs that technology had replaced. For example, if you go out of Nigeria, Europe, America, you go and fill your car at a filling station or gas station, typically you won't see attendants there. You will do it yourself. It will soon come to Nigeria at some point. So those filling station attendants, that might go. In fact, it will go eventually. It will still go. Once upon a time, if you enter any federal ministry, you see typists, ASDF, column LKJ. I remember did ASDF. The last time I saw a typewriter, it was at a restaurant in Lagos where they used it to decorate the wall as antique. It's gone. I saw a video of a lady who she had been a typist all her life. Then they now gave her those big desktop computers then. So she was typing, just hit the thing. The thing just fell. So yes, AI will also obviously take over some jobs. But I say it this way, and this is what I believe, that the person that will most likely take your job is not AI, it's the person that knows how to use AI that might take your job. So AI is an enabler. So we cannot shut our eyes to it. We've got to get into it. It's a skill now that you also need to get yourself equipped with it. I believe the future is still human, but humans that can use AI, very importantly. So speak confidently. Present your ideas effectively. It's very important. It's a skill that sells, that employers are looking for. Digital literacy, yeah, this is why I was talking about the whole AI. MS Office tools, oftentimes you go for job interviews, they ask you, can you use MS Office? They'll say, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on Excel, those kind of things. It's still relevant. Very, very relevant. Once upon a time, when they asked me, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on Excel, I'll say, 7, 8. Until I actually started using Excel and I realized, I feel like saying that 2 I do. Because the things that Excel can do, yeah, I'm still learning. Power BI, project management tools, the AI tools that we said, virtual collaboration tools, Google Workspace. Now, let me say a little bit about Google Workspace and MS Office. MS Office, your PowerPoint, your Word, your Excel. Oftentimes, you need to buy a license, to use those things. You have them on Google Workspace free. And this actually offers more collaboration. So if you do, Google Sheets is what Excel is different. But with the Google Sheets, we can share. As I'm working on it, Passage can also be working on it. You can see what I'm doing in real life. But if it's the normal Excel, I have to mail it to him, share it with him. But with the Google Sheets, you can see it live. They are live documents. Canva, how many of us are familiar with Canva? Canva is also another powerful one. Full disclosure, I've done a bit with Canva. It's also an area that I also need to improve myself on. But there is a whole lot. People do presentations with Canva. You can do a lot of designs with Canva. So these tools, it's a knowledge economy. So you've got to equip yourself. You've got to increasingly equip yourself. Emotional intelligence. Now, this is the people part that AI cannot do for you. Machine will not do it. Emotional intelligence. That talks about how do you deal with people and how do you manage yourself. There are 2 dimensions to emotional intelligence. You and yourself and you and other people. How well, and especially at leadership level, emotional intelligence is very, very important. As you rise in your career, it's not a lot of technical skills, but it's now more of people skills. How well you can manage people. And emotional intelligence is one of those things. So your staff, something happened, let me use that example. Something happened about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. You would have had it in the news. A minister locked out civil servants because they came late to work. And the union, the labor union, they are very aggressive and all that. So it was a face-off. They locked the minister out and all of that, And I was at a program with the then head of service. And we were talking about that situation. And the woman said something which really, really, really was key. The minister did not really apply emotional intelligence. Now, should have asked, why did they come late? Thank you. First thing is, why did they come late to work? Do they always come late to work? You know what happened at the time? Fuel subsidy was gone. A lot of these people live in Suleja, outskirts of Abuja. Transport went up. There were no staff buses for them. Some of them will take bus to one place, then leg another one, get to work. You did not address that. Your concern was they did not come at 8 o'clock. Emotional intelligence, a major part of it is empathy. Putting yourself in that person's shoes, especially if it hasn't been the pattern. So it's very important. Can you work with people? Can you handle pressure? That question, they say, go for interview. He said, can you handle pressure? Pressure? I was born under pressure. Or someone, they asked that it was a PA job. And the man said, can you keep secrets? Oh, guys, I did, so I'll be secret. So how do you break under pressure? How do you receive feedback? And how do you give feedback as well? If you're in a supervisory position, how do you give feedback? Especially feedback that is not really good. Somebody said a leader is someone who can step on your toes without wiping your shine. So I can give you bad feedback and you still feel good after I have said it. How do you do that? You first tell the person what they did well or what they've been doing well. Then you now say, however, this is what you did. Or a way I learned to do it. You want to tell this person that they need to do better in this regard. See, you are encouraged to do this. So it doesn't feel harsh. You're still passing the information. So maybe I need you to learn Excel. I don't say, you don't know Excel. You don't know Excel. You cannot excel at this job. Because what if I said your numeracy skills are good, but I encourage you to also build more depth or more competence in the use of MS Excel? It's emotional intelligence. Initiative, thank you. Do you wait to be instructed? Now, I've been on time between talking to people who supervise. Now, you report to someone. Do you tell Oga the problem and wait for Oga to tell you the answer? No. If you're a person of value, you've got to provide the answer. I remember one of my uncles, he's late now. He told us a story of when he was working at a factory. So he was the factory supervisor. So there was a problem in the factory, and then he was briefing his Yugoslav boss, who was the factory production manager or something. So he told the man the problems and all that. Now, my uncle's name was Folabi. After he told the man the problem, the man looked at him with his Yugoslav accent. Yugoslavia, by the way, doesn't exist anymore. It's now like 10 or 9 different countries. So the man looked at him and said, Afo Rabi, what is we do now? So tell me, what should we do? He said, you are the boss. Afo Rabi, what is to do now? So you come with the solution. Joseph didn't just tell Pharaoh the problem. He gave him the solution. So you should have that spirit. You should be solution-driven. Remember, we're talking about how to land your dream job. You should be solution-driven. You should go to an organization letting them know that you're a value adder and a solution provider. Why should they pay you that salary? It's because you want to solve a problem for them. Everybody that earns is solving a problem. Your gate man is solving a problem for you. If not, you should have been going to open that gate by yourself. He's solving a problem. So people earn because they solve. The only people that earn without solving problem are thieves and Yahoo and 419 people. But people who earn legitimately, they do so because they solve problems. They provide solutions. So do you take initiative? Do you take responsibility? Next slide, let me quickly run. I'm actually out of time, but let me quickly run. And I'm so sorry for taking so much of our time, please. I'll try and wrap it up. So positioning yourself, what do? Build those skills that you need beyond your degree. There are things that you need in the marketplace that they don't and will not teach you in school. They don't teach you in school, which is why they will send you on IT to go and learn it practically. But when you now come out, you need to build some of those skills. And what are some of those skills we see these days? Of course, AI and productivity tools, data analysis, your UI, UX, content creation. That's a new job now. Content creator, right? Gen Z people. One of my colleagues told me that her younger brother, who just graduated, said he's not ready to take any entry-level job that will pay him less than, did he say ₦1 million or something? Say you, which experience do you have? Because he's a content creator. He's making money from creating content. So it's also a skill, the skill set, that you can acquire. Communication skills, I talked about it. Leadership competence. And see, in building this skills, nobody is too old to learn. Oh. Me, personally, yesterday, I enrolled for a 3-month AI course that I am going to learn. Because what do a lot of us do with AI? You chat with ChatGPT, you give it a prompt, ask, that's all you do. But there is more you can do. You can create with it. So I also want to go beyond just asking questions, using it for research. Say, tell me about this, help me to do this. I also want to create. In your organization, let me give this example to HR people. So you have your employee handbook, which you document, right? And then when people come into you give them either hard copy or soft copy. So when they want to know about what is the policy on maternity leave, they either read the handbook or they come and ask you. 8 out of 10 times, they won't read that handbook. It's you, HR, they will come and be like, HR, what's the policy on? You can create a bot, a policy bot that instead of them disturbing HR with all those questions, go and chat with that bot. So you train that bot with your policies. So that instead of coming to talk to HR and disturbing HR, what's the policy? Go and chat with that chatbot now. Hello, whatever you call it. Please, I am a female staff. This is my level. How much leave days am I entitled to? And it will answer you. You can create. Those are the kind of things you can learn to add better value. So me, personally, I've gone to enroll for a 3-month AI course. Please, let's keep learning. Let's keep learning. Build evidence of your competence. So you have the skill, but it's only you that knows you have the skill. How does the employer, the person that wants to give you your dream job, know that you have it? Do you have a portfolio, especially if you're a creative? You're a creative person. You do designs. Do you have a portfolio? I recently learned about GitHub for developers. Do you have a GitHub account? You're a developer. Do you have a GitHub account? Do you volunteer? How many of us are workers in this house? You're workers. See, what you're doing, you're not just coming to serve here in church. You're also building skills that you can sell in the marketplace. I know somebody who is a big photographer in this town today. That photography, he learned it from being in media in his church. He was in media. They gave him camera and taught him how to. Today, that's what he does for a living. And he has a big studio. Somebody I respect so much said something. He said, experience is not experience because of how much you were paid for it. Experience is experience because you did it. You did it. So you go for a job interview, they tell you that, can you manage difficult people? Of course, I'm an usher in our church. Now, when I tell them to sit here, they don't sit here. That's experience. So, yeah, it's experience in managing people. So you can volunteer, you can do freelance assignments, optimize your CV. We can have a whole session on CV optimization, We can't oversay that. It's often said, and I agree with it, that you shouldn't just have one CV. Your CV should be tailored to the requirements of that role. So a lot of you're applying, especially you're applying to a big organization, they use what is called ATS because they can't read, maybe they receive 500, 1,000 applications. They can't read every single one. So they run it through an ATS, an applicant tracking system, which is basically looking out for keywords. Keywords. So you look at the advert, you see the keywords there. Make sure your CV and your cover letter are reflecting those keywords that they are looking out for. Because they won't have time to be reading line by. So are the keywords prompting out there? Have measurable impact. Not just, I did this, you're just giving them your job description. What did you achieve on that job? I reduced this by 80%. And now, that one too, I need to be very careful. So I see people who just, because in the name of, make sure you put achievement, they will say, I did something by 80%. And how did you measure it? Did you measure it? You're just saying, I reduced this one by so. Please be real. Make it measurable. For example, resolved customer complaints with 80% satisfaction rate. This means they probably did a customer satisfaction survey, and this person was able to pick that. Not that the one you just craft some say, I reduced turnaround time by 50%. You did not measure anything, no? Build a strong LinkedIn presence. Yeah, LinkedIn too. That's also a very, very important tool if you're looking for a job. Position yourself there. Number one thing, get a professional headshot. Not the picture you took at one social gathering somewhere. Please get a professional headshot, for your LinkedIn page. Engage professionally. Post your thought leadership. Now, you can write stuff, professional stuff, and post. Now, even if you are not writing, you can repost what somebody that you follow, which makes sense, has written, and then you can just put your own small comments there. It's a way of building your online presence as well. Let's quickly move on. The next one, please. Yeah. So for those international opportunities, number one thing is you've got to understand the global commission. So that you're not just competing with the guy you went to Ado-Ekiti University with. What I just did? Anytime somebody is throwing a jab at the school and they throw a jab at Laute, Pastor Ron will be like, You're competing globally with Chinese, with Indians. Some of them have been coding since they were in primary school. Those are the kind of people you're competing with for those global opportunities. So you've got to develop globally relevant skills. So you understand. So, for example, now you say, I am a financial analyst. Your financial analysis skills should cut across currencies. Not my own analysis is just in Naira. That's the only. You get it. Point I'm making is make sure that your skills are globally relevant, globally relatable. And oftentimes, yes, coding language in Nigeria is coding language in America, UI. But take, for example, your role is compliance. Your role is compliance. Compliance has to do with laws, right? Regulations. And you want to get a role for an American company. You need to understand what are the relevant laws in America as well. So it may need broadening your scope beyond, the things that you know here. Improve your communication. Very, very important. Now, when I say improve your communication, I'm not saying go and be speaking like an American. Everybody has an accent. Everybody. So be original with your accent. Just make sure that you're communicating, right. You're communicating right. A guy went for US visa interview. So they asked him that, where will you be visiting in the United States? He said, San Jose. So the American guy said, no. It's not pronounced San Jose. The J is silent. It's San Jose. Oh, thank you very much for correcting me. So when are you looking to travel? We said, un or ulai. Since you said that the J in America is silent, so maybe around un or ulai. That's not what I'm saying when I say improve your communication. Learn remote work culture. The major thing about learning remote work is the discipline. The discipline. So you are meant to be working remotely. Then your boss now calls you, say, and then you pick. They are hearing, marabaya. Or they call you for work. One day I was in a meeting with someone. The person was meant to be working remotely. So it was time for the person. I said the person should talk. The person did not talk. Oh, mute your mic and talk. The person now sends me a message. I'm in the salon. Learn remote work culture. Understand when to turn off your camera and turn off. No, camera is okay. Your mic. One day, this is me. Let me cast myself. I was in a Zoom meeting with some external people. Me, I was in the office, external people. I did not know that my mic was unmuted. So I wanted someone to help me get lunch. So I was saying, I want more. So my colleague just said, Tunde, we can hear about your mama. So please, if you want to order pomo, make sure you mute.